So let's talk MVPs because I'm not gonna lie, I've been sitting here and I've been wondering who is the MVP? Is it Jokic? Is it Shea? Can it be somebody in the Cavs? Right? Is it possible? And I came to a realization of it's gonna be ShaiGilgeous-Alexander. But then today, Shea and the Thunder went up against Jokic and the Nuggets, and I started thinking otherwise because I was wondering to myself, man, Jokic is putting up a game right now. He's really hoping, and Shea was taken out of the game completely. Now, one game does not make a big difference. One game does not swing it either way. But what one game can do is expose the truth and the mistakes of the other MVP and the other team. And that's exactly what the Nuggets came out here to do today. Now, the first game that they played yesterday was a Oklahoma City Thunder massacre. Like, they destroyed the Nuggets. They went so crazy on the Nuggets. It wasn't even funny. Like, what they did to the Nuggets yesterday was insane, and especially in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter was when the Nuggets went down, and that's really because J Dub had 13 points in the fourth quarter. ShaiGilgeous-Alexander had like 7 points in a minute and a half, and then they just took over. And then the dagger three came, and the Nuggets just looked like they couldn't compete with the Thunder, and that's because I don't think the Nuggets were prepared. I don't think they knew exactly what to prepare for, which is kind of weird to say, but that's exactly what it looked like. But now, today, the Nuggets look way better and they look more prepared and they look like they're actually way better than the Thunder. Now, like I said, this is one game and it could mean absolutely nothing. But the Nuggets came out here and they look like they're the better team. They look like they had no flaws pretty much, and they locked in on the Thunder defensively. The second half, they locked in, and the Thunder came out here first half, and they had like 34 points in the first quarter. They have 41 in the second quarter, but then in the third and the fourth quarter, the Nuggets held them under 30 points both quarters, which is really odd. Like, this doesn't usually happen to the Thunder. The Thunder are usually the team that's holding other teams under 30 points. They're usually the team to come out here in the second half and go berserk and have a whole bunch of points and just have an offensive performance of the century pretty much every second half. But the Nuggets came out here today and they're the ones who did that. Not only that, but the Thunder's defense was almost non-existent because it basically kind of held the Nuggets to nothing. Like, the Nuggets had a 30-point quarter every one of these quarters. Every one of these four quarters, the Nuggets scored more than 30 points. And in the fourth quarter, I know it says 39, but I'm going to just say 35 because 4 of those points came in garbage time, which is like a last minute. So I'm not going to count those last 4 points, but 35 points in the fourth quarter. Now, mind you, in the first half, the first quarter, the Thunder were complaining about fouls. They were complaining about calls. Their coach got a technical. They were doing the most. And you would have thought that they were getting no calls. You would have thought they were losing and struggling. But no, they were still getting calls. They were still struggling, like fighting, and they were still in the game. There was no crazy lead. And it had me thinking, why is their coach doing the most right now? It didn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't. And then the Nuggets go down, and they went down by like 11 points. They were so behind, and I thought the Thunder might just take over. They might balloon this lead to 20. They might hold on and make this an 11-point lead. The Nuggets might try to fight back every now and then during this game, but the Thunder's going to hold them off. But no. Third quarter came, and a matter of fact, before the third quarter, in the second quarter, the non-Jokic minutes, the Nuggets won it this time. And they won it because of Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray was absolutely unstoppable. He came out with a mission. He came out with a goal, and he came out to score. And exactly what he did is what the Nuggets needed last game, and it was what the Nuggets needed this game. And he performed. And he did it at a very high level. In the second quarter, there was no answer for Jamal Murray. Third quarter came, there was still no answer for Jamal Murray. Fourth quarter came, Jokic turned up and he was hot, but there was still no answer for Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray got whatever he wanted, and whatever shot he couldn't get from the mid-range or whatever, he went to the basket. And whatever shot he couldn't make at the basket, he got fouled and went to the free throw line. Whatever he wanted, he got. The Thunder could not stand in front of him. They could not stop him. They could not mitigate him. They couldn't do anything. to stop the bleeding. And then on top of all that, the Nuggets really took Shai out of the game. Now, I did not think it will be possible to take ShaiGilgeous-Alexander out of the game, but they did. And I know he had 25 points, 7 assists, but a lot of those 25 points were free throws, right? And on top of that, ShaiGilgeous-Alexander just wasn't effective. He wasn't a threat. And that's because the Nuggets doubled and trapped everything. And they forced the ball out of his hands. They forced everybody else to make a play. And the Thunder have the ability to win games like that, but they couldn't do it this time. And this is kind of scary because going into the playoffs, which is not that far away, what are the Thunder going to do? Because teams will do this. Teams know what ShaiGilgeous-Alexander is going to give you. And in the regular season, teams don't really take out the star player every single night. They try to do it, but it's not something that they are capable of doing every single night because it's a one game at a time. Everybody's tired. Everybody's exhausted. You don't want to get injured, so on and so forth. It's a long season. But in the playoffs, when you're allowed to be more physical, when everything turns up a notch, they will take ShaiGilgeous-Alexander out of the game, or at least attempt to. Now, it's up to him to find ways around that, and it's up to the Nuggets to try to stop him from finding ways around that. And I like what they did. They said, we're going to stop Shai, right? Now, I know he had 25 points, but offensively, it wasn't that great. I promise you, it wasn't that dominant. But they were like, we're going to stop Shai, and let's see if everybody else can beat us. And especially Lu Dort. They said, let's see if Lu Dort could beat us. The amount of open threes that Lu Dort got in the third quarter was absolutely insane. And Chet Holmgren too. I think if Chet Holmgren takes a couple of those shots and makes them, because he did miss a lot of shots that I feel like he should have made as part of returning. He's been injured for a long time. But if he would have made a lot of those shots, or at least a couple of those shots, it would have freed up ShaiGilgeous-Alexander a lot more. And I think he is the X factor for this team. If Chet Holmgren can, get to himself and become himself by the playoffs, it will open up a lot for Shai, because now Shai is not the only gun on this team. Now you have a couple of guns on this team, and you have a couple of main guns. You probably have two main guns and then a couple of guys around them that can perform and score if those other guys are stopped or taken out of the game. The thing is that the Nuggets were very unstoppable, especially Jokic. Like, no matter what the Thunder did against Jokic, they could not stop Jokic. If Jokic wanted to get to the basket, he got to the basket. If Jokic wanted to take a three, he took a three. If Jokic wanted to shoot free throws, he got to the free throw line. If Jokic wanted to get to the mid-range, he got to the mid-range. Jokic was too strong for them. Jokic caused a lot of trouble for them. And it made me think to myself, yesterday when these two teams played, did the Thunder really do anything to hurt Jokic, or was Jokic just playing bad because of the elbow injury in the first quarter? What was it? Because clearly, the Nuggets are not affected by the Thunder, especially Jokic. Jokic cannot be guarded by the Thunder's defense. Clearly, they couldn't do anything to him. Even Hardenstein, there was times where he will try to play defense on Jokic. Jokic was just too strong, and Hardenstein also put up 20 points of his own, but Jokic had 35, and he had 18 boards, and he had 8 assists. I mean, there was nothing you can do. Whatever Jokic wanted, he got. And on top of all of that, the Thunder couldn't guard no one. Like, in the third and fourth quarter, the amount of threes that the Nuggets bombed on them was insane. Everything was falling for the Nuggets. Even Russell Westbrook's shots were falling for the Nuggets. I mean, they had 6 out of the 8 guys that they played scored double digits. 6 out of the 8. They only played 8 guys because their bench is terrible. But 6 out of the 8 had double digits. And then you had Jokic and Jamal Murray having, I think, with 34 and 35 points each. There was no way you was going to beat this team. I don't know where the Thunder's defense was. I don't know if they tried and the Nuggets just too OP for them. I don't know what it was, but it definitely was not what I expected. I expected a better game. I mean, the Nuggets really didn't do good in the second quarter. They allowed 41 points, but the third and fourth quarter, like I said, they performed. And you know what's crazy? I said to myself in the first quarter, because the Nuggets are a terrible first quarter defensive team. I had said to myself, if the Thunder are trailing in the first quarter to the Nuggets, I don't care if it's 2 points. If they're trailing to the Nuggets in the first quarter, and they've allowed a 33-point quarter to the Nuggets in the first quarter, they are in trouble because you are not taking advantage of their weakness. The first quarter is the Nuggets' weakness, and if you can't take advantage of that, then you're in trouble. It's not impossible that you will win, but it's very, very hard. Then we had the Lakers go up against the Brooklyn Nets and they lost this game. I mean, this is expected though, because since LeBron went out, there is no guy that's connected to Luka and that's connected to the rest of the guys that can connect both sides until they all get together and, be able to have that chemistry, that continuity, because as if right now everything kind of still revolves around LeBron and what LeBron does and what LeBron wants. So as soon as LeBron goes down, now they all have to try to figure it out without that connector in LeBron James, who is super high IQ, amazing offense, amazing passer, amazing defender, and now you're trying to work it out with a new huge piece in Luka. Even though he had a triple double, Gabe Vincent had 24 points with 8 threes. I think no 6 threes. My apologies, and uh, Austin Reeves had like 17 points, but they still lost. And this is gonna happen. It's going to happen. They're gonna struggle. They got to go through some growing pains. But as long as they keep pushing and they don't go on a losing streak, they'll be fine. I think they'll figure it out eventually. With JJ Redick as the coach, with Luka Doncic as the point guard, the primary ball handler, with Austin Reeves getting a higher a chance and a more opportunity, with Gabe Vincent playing the way that he's been playing lately, the Lakers will eventually figure it out. My only thing is the Lakers are in trouble now because the Nuggets just won today. Lakers lost. So the seeding, the home court advantage is going to be at risk. And it depends on what the Lakers do, like I said. But we'll see how that goes. And then regarding the MVP conversation, I still don't know who's the MVP. I want Shai to win because I personally like Shai. And I think he's been performing at a very high level this whole season. And I think that the Thunder being the best team in the West is, amazing. And also on top of that, you could argue that the Cavs have the best team, but the Thunder have one star, and that's Shai. And he was not always a star. He made himself into a star in the league. So I think Shai should get it. Jokic does have like 3 already. I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to him because his numbers are insane and out of this world. But I want Shai to get it. Like if I had a vote, I would vote Shai. But we'll see how this all turns out. The Thunder do have to go against the Celtics tomorrow, I think, or the day after. Day after, because they just won it back to back. But they're gonna have to go against the Celtics. That's a big test. They're gonna have to go against the Pistons, and they're gonna have to go against the Bucks in these next 3 games. So we'll see how that shows out to be. We'll see what ShaiGilgeous-Alexander does in those 3 games. I think those 3 games are very, very big in voting, and they're very, very big in seeding, and they're very, very big when it comes to playoffs and just seeing where the Thunder are at, because this game showed that the Thunder are still not good and for a playoff type of team. They're still not a great playoff contender. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for coming out to the locker room. Safety.